Good morning. Today is day 40. I'm going to start with a quote today, and it's in the book as we get into these new 7 habits. I know of no more encouraging fact than the unquestionable ability of man to elevate his life through conscious behavior. Thought that was a good one. I forgot to write down who it was, but I think it's Thoreau. So listen, as you watch this video, I want you to do a couple of things. First, imagine yourself watching this video. Like, look at yourself watching this video. Put yourself up in the corner of the room and look down at yourself watching this video. Have you done it? Okay. Now, think about your mood as you're watching the video. Can you describe it? Now, think about how your mind is working. So as you're watching yourself, as you're identifying your mood, as you're describing your mood, think about how your mind is working. Are you wondering where this is going a little bit? I would be too. So basically, it's self-awareness. You can see yourself, you can imagine yourself, you're aware of yourself. And with that self-awareness, that comes the ability to evaluate ourselves. It's the reason that we're able to look at the habits that we've created. It's the reason that we're able to create new habits. It's the reason that we're able to break habits, is because we are aware. We're not just responding to everything on instinct. Instinct has a big part of what it is that we do. As we look at ourselves through our own lens, we'll also hear others that are talking about us, and we get the unique ability to look through others' lenses at ourselves too. So like, we can look at ourselves in the mirror and think one thing, and then somebody else can look at us and think another. If somebody was watching us watch a video, what they may be thinking about us is different than what we're thinking about ourselves as we are watching the video. However, they both come together to create who we are. There's really 3 social maps that are used to evaluate and create our humanity and create ourselves. There's the genetic determination, and that is our DNA, what genetically helps to figure out who we are. We talked a little bit about this in Atomic Habits, as far as, you know, a 5-foot tall person may not be playing basketball, and you know, somebody that's 7.5 feet tall, everybody looks at and says, do you play basketball? You should play basketball. We've got our psychic determination, and that is how our parents raised us. So how we were reared, how we were raised, maybe not just our parents, but our tribe, the people around us as we grew up. You know, what did they grow us into be? What culture, what values were developed in us? And then we've got our environmental determination, which is our bosses, our children, our spouse, like who the people are in our current environment, and what are they creating around us in order to help us act. So this takes us to that habit loop. You know, we talked a lot about the habit loop in a 4-part series where it was cue, craving, response, reward. If you look up habit loop on Google, you will often find it's only a 3-part loop. That's just cue, response, reward. So in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, he starts this habit loop off by just calling it stimulus and response. So you've got your stimulus, you've got how you respond to that stimulus. In the book, he tells a story about Viktor Frankl. Many of us may have heard of Viktor Frankl before. He was a Holocaust survivor, and when he was in the camps, he wondered day after day after day whether or not he was going to be one of the next ones that died. He was often taken to shovel out the ashes, to move the dead bodies. And as he laid naked in his prison cells with guards watching him, day after day after day, he finally came to realize one thing, that the guards may be able to take away his dignity, they may be able to torture him, they may be able to do all sorts of other things that just can really damage a person, but what they could not take away was his ability to decide how those activities towards him affected him, how he would respond to that stimulus response. So Viktor Frankl, looking down at himself, decided how he was going to respond to those situations. Again, that's that self-awareness, and that introduces us into the first of the 7 habits, which is be proactive. So this is the proactive model. The fact that our self-awareness of what is happening to us, our imagination, our conscience, our independent will, that when something happens to us, we get to decide how we respond. It's not instinct, it's not fate, it's nothing else. It's our self-awareness, our imagination, our conscience, and our independent will allows us to break that habit loop, right? The cue, the craving, the response and the reward, the stimulus, the response. We can put our proactive model in the middle of it and determine how we are going to respond to situations that happen to us. So, more on that tomorrow. Hope everybody has a beautiful day. Have a great one.